What's up everyone, Anwar Thinks back once again, and today I'm going to break down every single team in the FIFA 2022 World Cup and who I believe to be their potential top goal threat in the tournament. Now the reason that I'm doing that is because in sports cards people quite often ask me who should I be looking out for, who should I be buying, and especially when it comes to the World Cup, this is the time to be buying sports cards because it's the time when the core part of the market, which is America, which is Canada as well, they're looking at football, they're looking at soccer. For the most part, they kind of keep a little bit of an eye on it. But this is the time where I think a lot of people are going to kind of come into soccer cards. We're in a down market at the moment, so it's not going to be the massive boom that I expect in another 4 years' time, but I do expect a little boom here. And the reason why I'm talking through the top goal scorers is when it comes to sports cards, this is what you want. You want the people who are going to be on the highlight reels, who's going to be shared all over TikTok, all over social media, the retweets, everything like that. And those are the players who are going to be getting the goals at the World Cup. So right, let's break it down. Team number one, we've got Qatar, and I'm talking about Hassan Al-Haydos. He plays for Al Sadd, he's 31 years old, 168 caps and 36 goals, which doesn't sound like a lot, but he is the core player for this Qatar team. Now, they are a minnow when it comes to international football, and that's why his numbers kind of reflect that of a minnow team, only 36 goals in 168 games. But there is going to be a positive feel because they are the home nation. There is a lot of negativity on this World Cup. I'm not here to go into that in this video. I can do that in another video if people want me to do that. But when it comes to the on-field action, I think people are going to get behind this Qatar team. They are the underdogs, they are the home team, and Al-Haydos will be the guy who's going to be stepping up and scoring the goals if there are any to be scored for Qatar. Next in their group is Ecuador, and I'm going to talk about Jordi Caicedo, 24 years old, only 10 caps so far, and only 2 international goals. But I think he is their form player when it comes to scoring goals. He's only got 2 goals in 18 games in the league, but that can go all out the window because some players just become a completely different beast when they play for their international team. Look at Granit Xhaka. For years he struggled in that Arsenal team, but then when he goes and plays for Switzerland, he's a really formidable unit in the centre of midfield. And speaking of players who really step it up when they play for their international sides, I think we're going to get a big performance from Senegal's Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane is not just one of the best players in the world, but he's also hyper focused when it comes to his international form. We've seen him go to Bayern Munich where he's got just 12 goals in 22 games so far at Bayern Munich, which is a pretty decent return. People kind of expected a little bit more because Mane is such a big name, but 12 and 22 is a decent return. And obviously Senegal were African Cup of Nations champions very recently where he was their main man there, so I expect that to carry on and he'll be the main man in the World Cup. And rounding off Group A, we've got the Netherlands and 25-year-old Steven Bergwijn. Plays for Ajax, 10 goals in 18 games this season. Internationally, just 7 goals in 24 games. He's only 25, he's kind of like dipping his toes in the water a little bit, you know, with only 24 caps so far. But again, I think he could be really key in this World Cup for them. Like, because internationally, he's kind of their form player when it comes to goal scoring. If you look at like just their games they've had this year, they probably had about 6-7 games, something like that. Well, no, we're in September, maybe a little bit more. But if you look at those games, he's the player who's actually been getting the most goals to them recently. So he's an interesting one. Now, Group B, let's talk about England, and we're obviously going to be talking about Harry Kane. It doesn't take a genius to point this one out. Again, 29 years old, 75 caps, but 51 goals. 75 to 51 is such a great ratio when it comes to an international player. And people aren't really hyping him that much this season, but he's got 12 goals in 19 games. He is having a good season with Spurs. And the difference here compared to other years, obviously with this World Cup, is it's coming in the middle of the season. Typically, the English league players are knackered when it comes to the end of the season because they have a really hectic schedule with no massive times off. So when it comes to the World Cup, that's one of the things that people put down, that that's why they struggle. But it's not going to happen this year for Kane. In fact, Kane starts to get warmed up about this year. There was that famous stat where he doesn't really score in like August and September a few years ago. So now we're coming into October. Now we're in November. The World Cup's going to start at the end of November. Hopefully for England, Harry Kane is really firing. And I'll be honest, I'm an England fan, but I believe that they are the favourites for this tournament just based off the previous 2 competitions. Right, in their group we've got Iran and Mehdi Taremi. He plays for Porto, 10 goals in 18 games, which is not a bad return in the Portuguese league. 60 caps and 28 goals for the 30-year-old, which again, it's not really setting the world alight, but if they are going to have a key attacking threat, it's Mediterranean. Right, let's go to America, and I'm going to talk about a player that I don't really know a lot about here, and it's Jesus Ferreira. Okay, he's 30 years, no, he's not 30 years old, he's 21 years old, he's got 7 goals in 15 caps. He plays for Dallas, where he's got 18 goals in 39 games this season. I think he's a sneaky one to really keep an eye out for, because like I said, the core of this market is in America. If anyone's price is going to go up, a lot of people are focused on Christian Pulisic. I think you're right. I'll be honest with you, I think you're right. Pulisic is a great shout, but when it comes to that goal threat, Jesus Ferreira, if he gets called up, I think he might surprise a few people. He can nick a goal here. And then obviously, the final group is Wales, and again, it doesn't take a genius to work this one out. It's Gareth Bale. 40 international goals in 108 caps for someone who started his career as a left-back and has moved further forward as his career has gone on. For LAFC, he's only got 2 goals in 14 games so far this season, but don't let that put you off. He is another one of those players that when it comes to his international team, he's really going to put all effort in. There was jokes about that he was going to be the first player to retire from club football and focus on his international career. And Bale, I think, is definitely going to be popping up with goals in the World Cup. Now, how much of a run are they going to get in the World Cup? I think it's going to be tricky for Wales. They may end up going out in the group stages. I think Iran and America are both going to be up for it. Obviously, England, I said, are the favourites, so he might not get far into the competition, but at the start I think he's going to be one to look out for Wales. Next up is Argentina again, obvious one, Lionel Messi, 35 years old, 90 goals in 164 caps, 21 goals in 20 games so far for PSG this season. People said he was dusted last year, whereas I thought maybe he's just kind of taking a little bit of a mental year off, and next year he's going to really push on. And I think, I said England are the favourites, but I think second favourites maybe Argentina. Because if Messi's in form, who's going to stop him? Next up, we have got Saudi Arabia. Salah El Seri plays for Al Hilal, 28 years old, and he's got 10 goals in 28 caps. This is a pretty good return for a relative international minnow like Saudi Arabia. Next up, we've got Mexico. Alexis Vega, 24 years old, 20 caps, 4 goals. He plays for Guadalajara, where he's only got 3 goals in 18 games. But on the international stage, he delivers. You're going to notice a bit of a trend in some of these players. Like you've got, for example, a Messi or a Harry Kane who's performing at club level, but you've got some of these who aren't performing at club level, but at international level, they're the ones to look out for. And those are the sneaky ones that you need to be looking out for, because those are the ones you're going to be getting the goals at the World Cup, because it's international football, it's not club football. Right, next up, we've got Poland. Again, another obvious one, Robert Lewandowski, 34 years old, 76 goals in 134 caps. 18 goals in 19 games for Barcelona. Now, I think Robert Lewandowski has the most pressure on him out of anyone in this World Cup, because he is the biggest name at the smallest nation. And I think he really does bear that weight of expectation from Poland. And I think he does, not that he struggles with it, but I think it is a lot for one man to take. Right, next up, France, Kylian Mbappe, obviously 28 international goals in 59 caps. He's 23 years old. He's got 18 goals in 19 games. He's another one that can really turn it on when it comes to the international level. Let's move on to Australia. Awar Bill, this guy, 27 years old, 8 goals in 29 caps. Plays for Cadiz, where he's only played 6 games and got 1 goal. But I think for international, I think he's going to get into it. I think he's one to really look out for on the sly. Denmark, we've got Christian Eriksen. Let's talk about the 30-year-old. 117 caps, 39 goals. We thought he was finished at the Euros when he had that heart issue. This year he's been playing brilliantly for Manchester United. I think he's been playing really well. Only 1 goal in 18 games, but I think he's been a key player for them. When it comes to free kicks and penalties in this tournament, I think he's going to be getting them for Denmark and getting on those highlight reels. Tunisia rounds off their group. Yusuf Maskani, Al Arabi, 17 goals in 84 caps, 31 years old again. A relative international minnow. Don't expect massive things from him, but if anyone's going to do anything for Tunisia, I think this guy is your most favourite bet. Spain, Alvaro Morata, Atletico Madrid, only 6 goals in 18 games, only 27 goals in 57 caps. But you don't know what you're going to get from him. He's someone who is maybe one of the most underwhelming players in world football because he has such potential to play at such a high level, but then just kind of falters off a little bit here and there. Costa Rica, and I can't believe I'm still talking about this guy, Joel Campbell. Remember when he burst onto the scene? He was that Arsenal player. People thought he was going to be massive. Never quite came out. 25 international goals in 118 caps. 34 appearances and 5 goals at Lyon this season. Germany is Kai Havertz, young man, only 23 years old, but 10 goals in 30 caps, 6 goals in 17 appearances for Chelsea this season. Pulisic you all know about, but Havertz is probably the better player, let's be honest. Morocco, we're talking about who I call Soufi Bouffi, Soufiane Boufal, plays for Angers, where he's got 4 goals in 13 appearances this year. He's 29 years old. He's got 5 international goals only to his name in 31 caps. But he is their main man. Again, not massive numbers, so don't expect him to light the world on fire. But if anything's going to happen for Morocco, he's going to be there or thereabouts. Croatia rounds up their group, and obviously it's Luka Modric because of free kicks, because of penalties. 23 international goals in 154 caps. 37 years old though, let's just hammer on that number, and still playing at a brilliant standard. Only 4 goals in 17 games for Real Madrid this season, but again, he's just such a good player. For Brazil, I'm going to talk about someone really interested in maybe missing out due to injury though, so keep an eye on that situation. It's another Tottenham player. It's 6 goals in 17 appearances for them. It's 17 goals in 38 caps. It's Richarlison. He has got a bit of the B about him. I won't say the word because kids might be watching in this video, but yeah, he's got a bit of a B about him. Serbia, they have got one of the top forwards in the Prem this season. Alexander Mitrovic, who's really motivated this year. Is it because he's had so many failed attempts at the Prem, or is it because this is a World Cup season and he's going to be really firing when it comes to the winter tournament? 13 goals in 14 appearances for Fulham, 50 goals in 76 caps for Serbia. I think, low-key, Mitrovic is going to have a fantastic tournament. Now, Switzerland, Braylen Bolo, I thought this guy had a massive future. 25 years old, 11 goals in 58 caps. He's playing at Monaco where he's got 9 goals in 23 appearances. He's not hit the levels that I expected him to hit a few years ago. I'm always prospecting. Here's a player that I prospected a few years before I was doing these kind of videos, and he's never really hit those heights, so always beware what I say, because some players just don't come out. Now, Cameroon is a final team in their group. Vincent Aboubakar has got 37 goals in 93 caps. He's 30 years old. He's used to that hot weather. I'm pretty sure he's playing out in the Middle East at the moment. I'm not sure who for, because I didn't write it down. I don't know why. But Vincent Aboubakar, I think, is someone interesting to look out for Cameroon. But it's a very tough group for them to get through. Final group, Portugal. I'm not going to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Here's the first obvious one that isn't going to be talked about. Instead, I'm going to talk about Bruno Fernandes. 38 goals in 99 caps. Only 3 goals for Manchester United in 19 games. But he's the man. Ronaldo is on his way out. I think Ronaldo may turn it around in the World Cup and may have a massive one because he's got a point to prove. But as things stand, I think your safer bet is actually Bruno Fernandes. Ghana, you got Mohamed Kudus, 8 goals in 19 appearances for Ajax this season. 5 goals in 18 caps for Ghana. They've got the hardest group in the competition. So what are you going to do with him? I don't know. Right, Edison Cavani from Uruguay. He's the next one. 35 years old, 58 goals in 133 caps, 6 goals in 9 appearances this season for Valencia. He's old, he's barely playing, but that may just feed into it when it comes to the World Cup. Cavani is one of the best finishers in world football, and I'd back him at any given point in his career, even at this stage. I know I just wrote off Ronaldo, but that's because they got Bruno Fernandes. Cavani's going to be that centre forward who's going to be playing, in my opinion. Right, South Korea is the final team, and this man may be out of the competition, but at time of recording and at time of writing, he was still available. And I'm talking about Son Heung-min. Son, 9 goals in 24 games for Spurs this season, so it has gone off a bit of a cliff, but he was top scorer in the Premier last year. 30 years old, 104 appearances and 35 goals. Son is a brilliant player, and that makes 3 Spurs players that I put in this video. So if you're keeping track, And these three do all go to the World Cup. They may all have a brilliant World Cup, but coming out of it, Spurs may struggle. But we're not talking about Prem right now, we're talking about the World Cup. So if you're looking to invest in anyone's cards, take all that on board, because these are the 32 names I expect to be the top scorers for each nation. Obviously, I'm not Mystic Meg. I can't guarantee that these 32 names will be the top scorers for each nation. I can't even guarantee that some of these nations will even score a goal at the World Cup. But what I can say is, if I was going to bet on anyone, these are the names I'm going to bet on. I feel like I missed out 2 names in this. No, I missed out 3. Right, Japan, Karu Mitoma, Brighton, 2 goals in 13 appearances, 5 goals in 9 caps. Michy Batshuayi for Belgium. You probably weren't expecting his name to come out of my mouth. Belgium have got so many brilliant attacking players. KDB, Tielemans, even Lukaku I would say is really good. But I think he may have the best potential to actually grab goals. 26 goals in 47 caps for Belgium, 8 goals in 12 appearances for Fenerbahce. And Jonathan David, the Canadian. You Canadians probably watching this going, what the hell, you've not mentioned us. I don't know why, how I missed this, but I missed him. 10 goals in 15 games for Lille this season. 22 years old, 22 goals in 34 appearances. He is maybe my sneaky choice for a really, really good investment, because not just I think he's going to do pretty well in this World Cup, I think he's got brilliant potential in the next World Cup. So if you keep hold of those cards, the values should see this kind of trajectory. Just doing a quick look through. Right, I'm pretty sure I've nailed everyone on now. I would love to hear your folks' opinions in the comment section down below. Who do you think is going to be the top goal scorer in the competition when it's all said and done? I think Harry Kane's going to finish maybe second. I think Messi might do it and finish first. Maybe a couple hat-tricks. Maybe, listen, he could very easily get 6 against Saudi Arabia and just coast the rest of the tournament. So I think Messi for top scorer of the tournament. Harry Kane to maybe get to the latter stages and get maybe second. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very interesting World Cup. I'll try and do a couple more videos beforehand. I'm actually going to be in America for the start of the World Cup when England play America. That's not really where I want to be. I want to be at home with my feet up in front of the telly. That's where I like to watch games if I'm not in the stadium itself. But no, I'm going to be in the United States. So, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button down below, ding that notifications bell, and share it to a friend. And with that, I am out. Thank you very, very much for watching.